Hello YouTube. So just out for a little couple of hours in the woods on an afternoon. Going to be trying out a new product, coffee related product. I'll show you in a minute. Some like creaking and cracking going on behind me. I'm not sure if it's just branches about to break or trees creaking or animals or what, but quite a loud sort of cracking and creaking. Anyway, so yeah, that's the main purpose of the video really. Just come out here to have a brew, and a lot of insects around, and test out this new bit of coffee making equipment. So let's get it out and I'll show you what it is. Okay, so this is the Lixada French press titanium. So comes in a good bag. It's almost the same as my titanium cup I've already got, except for this has got a little spout on it for pouring, and it's got the hanging handle which I wanted to be able to hang over a fire. Apart from that, the cup's exactly the same size, 750ml if it's right to the top, but you're not going to get that. And the flip out handle. And the difference is this has got the press bit in the top. The measurements are in the inside there, so you can look in as you're filling it. 500ml up to about here, so you may get 600 out of it, but it's marked down as a 750. But yeah, most of it's titanium except for these bits. I'm not sure if they're steel. I suppose they're steel. And yeah, there's not much more to say about it at the moment, but I haven't used it yet, so you know, I'm going to actually make a brew with it and see how well it does. I am boiling it in my original cup so that I can then transport the water, like put the coffee ready in here, put the water in there. But yeah, you could just boil the water in there, then add the coffee and then plunge it. I'm just doing it that way because that's the way I always do it. So what I wanted to say about this is I could, with my brew kit, my usual brew kit, which I've got a video on, and you will have seen it in my camping videos if you watch this. I use a separate carry brew kit normally. That's got everything I need in it. Now this could actually, if I took this out, it could go upside down over the Nalgene bottle. So I'd have that one with the Nalgene bottle in it, and then this one slips over the top. I'll show you later on in the video. But it's because it's exactly the same size, you kind of have one on the bottom, one on the top. But then I end up left with this thing, which is difficult to pack. It's odd size to pack in your bag, really. Odd shape, sorry. Yes, you could take it apart. You're probably screaming at the video, just take it into pieces. Yeah, but then you end up with that bit under there, that nut under there, the filter, the plate underneath, the plate on top, the lid. You end up with all these separate pieces that can very easily get lost in the woods. So I did think about that. I did take it apart and I was like, I'm definitely going to lose bits of this if I do that. So I gave up on that idea. So it probably will be a case of this being an extra bit of equipment to carry when I really want a proper coffee, which I kind of do, you know. I mean, I'll have instant coffee, no problem. I'll do most days, to be fair, at work, because it's just there and it's free. I'll use the 3-in-1 sachets or some sort of, you know, sachet when I'm camping, just because it's easy and convenient. I'm not a snob, I will drink instant coffee and stuff like that, but real coffee is almost like an entirely different drink, really. It's not even in the same league, it's a totally different thing. So that's it really, now we wait. But yeah, like I said, I'll drink any coffee, but sometimes you just want real proper coffee, and I do appreciate proper coffee. Doesn't mean that you have to, doesn't mean that if you just don't care and you're just happy with any old coffee, that's fine. You do you. But to say that coffee's coffee is wrong, quite frankly. They're totally different things. Like I said, I can drink both, but when you get properly freshly ground beans, first of all you're going to get like much more flavour and aroma and stuff out of it. It's just freshly been ground, of course you will, and just proper coffee instead of instant coffee. You're just going to get the potential for much better flavours and stuff. So it's just like anything, like wine, you know, you can learn to appreciate it. Some people really know their wine, and they know what flavours they're looking for. They know what they prefer. They're able to describe it. And with coffee it's the same. I'm not at that level with wine where I could do that. I drink it and I know if I like it or not. That's all I can tell you, really. With coffee, I have had ones when I was subscribed to Pact, where they send you different coffees each month or however often you want them. I did discover that I liked ones that have like dark fruity flavours. So their ones typically were like tastes of sort of chocolatey, which tends to be quite dark. I thought I'd like that, but I didn't so much. You know, a dark sort of deep taste, maybe a bit more bitter. And then there's some that are even floral, but I found that I like the ones that are really fruity. This is one that we got given to us from Mexico, and I wouldn't say it's got a particular taste that I could put my nose on, but you know, put my finger on. But I'm sure a coffee expert would. So I'm not an expert. I just find it interesting tasting different coffees, and I do appreciate a proper coffee brewed properly. But anyway, we're just waiting now because I'm going to let it sit for about 6 minutes just to get a proper brew out of it, and then we'll give it a taste. I don't think I'm going to put anything in it to begin with, just to taste it for what it is. And that's also the difference. If you give me instant coffee black with no sugar, actually I don't really like that. I think it's pretty disgusting. Whereas proper coffee brewed properly with decent beans, I could drink all day without milk and sugar. Actually, just it's a totally different world. But I get it, some people aren't into it, and most of the time, like I said, when I'm camping, I can't be bothered either. I just want a bit of caffeine in the morning, milk, sugar, make it taste nice, whatever. But I will be taking this out in the future. I've got a camp lined up, so I'll probably take it on the next one. And nothing like a real coffee in the morning, in my opinion. It's time. Give it a plunge. There you go. I boiled about 250ml-ish of water, maybe a bit less. I think there's probably about 200 there, maybe some of it evaporated. Not the darkest brew I've ever seen, so maybe next time I'll brew it a bit longer. But then again, people seem to pride themselves on how dark and disgusting and bitter their coffee is. It shouldn't be really bitter. If it's good coffee, there's no need for it to be really bitter. A lot of the coffee you get, let me put the camera up, hang on. A lot of the coffee you get in the typical, you know, the chains, the coffee shop chains, is just it's really dark roasted, and not the best beans anyway, and then really dark roasted, and just if you have it black, again, it's not very nice really. It's just really dark, bitter. And of course coffee is going to have, what is that? It's a bee. Hello bee. I don't know what he wants, but anyway. It's going to have, what is that? It's a bee. Hello bee. I don't know what he wants, but anyway. 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 I don't know what he wants, but anyw plane went over, so I had to stop. Yeah, dark, bitter coffees, and people are like, oh, just want the strongest coffee. It's like some sort of badge of honour to drink the strongest, most bitter, darkest coffee. Again, that's your thing if that's what you like, genuinely. But I prefer when the beans are kind of medium roast. You know, a little bit less. When you see the beans, they should be kind of brown rather than just dark brown, black sort of colour. And if you want it stronger, you just brew it more. But yeah, and coffee, of course, coffee's going to have a bitterness to it. It's going to have, but it should have other flavours as well, not just bitterness. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to drink this straight away because it might be a bit hot. No, it's alright. And I know these beans because I've had them at home, and I do normally put in the morning when I can be bothered to do the proper whole process. At home, I'll have it with a bit of milk and a bit of sugar or sweetener or something because it's a morning coffee. But as far as the brewer itself, the French press, I don't see a problem with that. It seems to have brewed it. You know, I mean, there's not a lot to it, is there? But if there was loads of bits in it, I'd say that maybe the filter isn't fine enough. But it's come out exactly the same as it would in any other French press at home. So it clearly works. It's very lightweight for what it is because it's titanium. Cools down quickly. I can hold it already. A little bit too hot on the bottom still, because the coffee is still sitting in there, and obviously that takes up some of the water as well, so you have to put a little bit more water than what you think. But overall, yeah, there is other versions of this by different brands. I went with Lixada because it's easily available. I think I got this off AliExpress, so it came from China. By the time all the tax and everything like that had been added on, it wasn't really that much cheaper than just getting it off Amazon. So Lixada are available on Amazon, so that's where I'd recommend getting it from, unless you don't mind waiting a few weeks to get it. And my other cups from Lixada as well, but there's a Helicontex version made of aluminium, but it's anodised aluminium, so I think that's a bit better than your standard aluminium. And I did think about getting that one, but I didn't really see much difference, and I wanted to keep the titanium so it matched my other pot. But what I would say is, if any one of the brands could do a version of this that was quick release, you'd be onto a winner, I reckon. Lixada or Helicontex or anyone, if you could do this, maybe a little push-in button or some little pins that push in and this pops off, so you didn't have loads of little tiny pieces in your bag to lose in the woods, then you could separate those pieces off. The lid could easily slip down the back, you know, the stick could go anywhere in a pocket somewhere or something, and it would just be so much easier to pack. I think they're missing a trick there. That would be a good little design, I think. Nice. No need for a tarp. I have got one with me, and I could string it between these trees just in case it did start to rain, but no need. Just turned out to be quite a nice day. Aeroplane coming. Wow! It's that. Wow! Sounds like it's saying help. Help! There's one over there cheeping away, and then there's one over there doing that. Meow! Might have a little wander over and see if I can spot anything in the distance. I love this woods for that reason. There's so many animal noises. Some people find that a bit unnerving, but to me that means that there's not many people around. So I quite like it. That's one downside, actually, of taking that thing or brewing any kind of proper coffee, is that you can end up with mess. You can end up with a dirty brewer, whatever you're using. The coffee grains are going to be left at the bottom. You've got to get rid of them. You've got to clean it all out. So it's just another thing to have to do, which is a bit of a faff when you're camping. And most of the time, when I'm doing a camp, there's not a lot of time, you know. So I'm a no faff camper with a lot of things. I can't be bothered with it all. So there is that. So I won't be doing it every camp, you know. As I said, I'm not a coffee snob. I can just have instant coffees or whatever. It's not a problem. But yeah, it's just something. If you guys are thinking about having proper coffee when you're out camping or hiking or whatever, of course it's going to be a bit of extra equipment and it's going to be less convenient, and there's going to be cleaning to do. That's why normally I use a pot just for water. I only boil water in it, and then I have a cup that I have my teas and coffees in that you can just kind of rinse out, wipe out, because I just hate having to clean stuff when you're out and about. I don't mind doing it when you get home. You know what? Don't do enough of just lying down without a tarp or a tent above me and just looking up at the canopy. You know, in nature you always find these patterns repeating themselves. Veins in your body, the nerves, the roots of plants and trees, the branches, mycelium from the fungi and mushrooms under the ground. See how it all spreads out like veins. All of life seems to do the same sort of things, the same patterns. See how good a coverage you get with the canopy in these woods. So even when it's raining, you don't feel it a lot. Not that it's not raining now, but I have been here when it's raining, and yeah, if you're in the right spot like around here, you don't really feel it that much, unless it's absolutely pouring down, obviously. So I just found out about this huge rhododendron bush. It goes all the way along, and it's flowering at the moment. So that one's on its way out. That one's out. And then down there, that's apparently an old World War II building of some sort of structure. Not sure what it was, but yeah, there was some metal bits on there. Don't know what they are. This is Adams patent penstock on the bottom. I have no idea what they are. Oh, hang on. Let's get in here. Pipes going up there. So yeah, I don't know what this was. Glyn told me about it, who you may have seen on one of my other camping videos, and yeah, he knows about all these old things. I'll ask him, maybe he knows what it is. Yeah, huge rhododendron bush, massive. It's pretty cool. So I came from over there, see that sort of entrance, and there's like a path going through the middle of it all. So you've got rhododendron on both sides, and you're just walking straight through the middle of it. It's actually really cool. Find something like this in the woods. Some of it's massive.